Okay. I've never been referred to as Squire, so you kind of caught me off guard. As somebody who avoids the existence of any royal families as much as humanly possible, I don't really think about knights very often. But how am I doing? I'm okay. I'm okay. My schedule is very weird now. But I'm okay. That's the easiest way to put it. I'm okay. But glad that you're liking the interviews. The fact that I've managed to get both Zach and Tarn on in the last two is really cool. Like, there's not that many recordings of them both on the internet talking. Dwarf, where are you going? This dwarf's just like, I don't give a fuck about Nalava. All right, Piranha. This is a fortress called Threatdweller. We are the mountain home of our faction, and we're at war with two different goblin civilizations. And the last siege that they just sent was entirely elves. So there's some eternally burning coal out here, which will eventually go away, and we're waiting for this lava to dry up. But yeah, no, I'm doing all right. Ups and downs, you know? Like, you're asking somebody who's never been particularly mentally stable how he's doing, and it's like, man, depends on the week. At this exact moment, I'm okay. I'm very stressed because I'm going down to PAX West in less than 2 weeks, I think. Yeah, almost a week, actually. Less than 2 weeks. As of Saturday, it'll be a week. I leave on the 3rd, and I'm back on the 5th. PAX West is the 2nd to the 5th, so I'm only going to actually be at the convention for 1 day, but I'm going down to try and meet up with Zach and Tarn and talk about Dwarf Fortress things, and hopefully get the opportunity to get my hands on it and actually play the premium version instead of just reposting screenshots and talking about footage that they record. So that's stressing me the fuck out because I don't like traveling at all. I realize that like a lot of people like traveling. It's not a recreational activity that I enjoy. I like the act of being somewhere else, but I don't like traveling. You need to go to bed. You have a good night's sleep still. So that's about how I'm doing. I am okay. I wouldn't say I'm great. I wouldn't say that I'm great, but I'm okay. I'm gonna put some cage traps out. Maybe we can catch some wombats or something. You got paid for the month, but you haven't had work yet? You start on the 29th? Oh, like you've found work? I don't believe you've ever mentioned the concept of working in my chat before, Diamond, so is this a new job? If so, congrats. I mean, you have to pay your ticket taxes somehow. You got paid for the 3 days? Oh, it's an internship thing. Gotcha. What field, if I can ask? I mean, I wouldn't complain about getting paid for stuff you haven't done yet. That's great. Being paid in advance for work is awesome. Redacted? Okay. He's a nuclear physicist. I mean, what? There was this person who used to watch this stream ages ago, who hasn't been by in a very, very, very long time, who never said what he did in the chat. IT? And then out of nowhere one day, just blurted out, he's like, yeah, I just lost my job, so I can tell you guys what I do now. And he worked as a nuclear reactor safety specialist and would go around the world from nuclear power plant to nuclear power plant and inspect whether or not they were being maintained correctly. Which is like one of the craziest jobs I've ever heard of. It's like, of course, that's something that has to exist, but there can't be that many jobs for that particular field in the world, you know? It's like there's only something like 10,000 full-time Twitch streamers. It's like, imagine how few people actually do that job. Yeah. You don't want people to know what you do kind of gig. Although I don't want people to know what I do in real life because they make fun of me. Sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. But yeah, in general, I've been okay. Streaming and stuff has been good. The YouTube channel's been doing well. So no complaints there. It's really nice getting to kind of... It's like, you know, like the thing that I've always said about the stuff that I make on Twitch is I want to make streams that I like watching. And some of my favorite stuff in the world is just watching interviews with developers and listening to interviews with developers in podcasts or in live formats. So for me, it's very much a... It's just real cool that I can, you know, make interviews that people get to watch because that's the sort of content I like watching. And it's generally a pretty safe assumption that if you like watching something, somebody else probably likes watching the same thing. Let's make copper goblets. Copper goblet. Let's just make 200, because I feel like I'm kind of short on goblets. We got 122 in the taverns, right? We got 2 taverns. So we should get some more rolling. Maces. Silver mace. 1. Look at this dwarf who's in a strange mood and they want bones. I have no bones. I can't even, like, slaughter this horse because they're all pets. So I've made a couple of dwarves into hunter dwarves, but they haven't really done any hunting yet. So there isn't too much I can do. I have butcher shops already. 3 of them, in fact. Well, that's not the issue. So there ain't too much I can do there. Unless you want under-the-table payments. That doesn't sound legal. I'd rather just get payments. Screw under the table payments. Yeah, this is our second tavern all the way the hell out here. And then these, I don't think I ever actually made... Yeah, I never actually made these into a dormitory. There you go. Now it's a dormitory, so anybody can go sleep in there. Including visitors. So this may end up mostly like a visitor's tavern. This is like the only stressed dwarf in the fort. Coal. Can't be all that bad, though. It's funny, like, there's dwarves here in this squad that, like, don't really have a lot of kills. And then there's dwarves that just have tons. Yeah, like this one. Killed a troll, but has 16 other kills. Like, the ones that have been here in the military for a while. Like that one. This one's been killing trolls and goblins since 222. Damn, we're in 229 now. But yeah, plan for the rest of the day is we're gonna play another hour or 2 of this, depending on how active chat is or how quiet chat is. And then we're gonna go play some Zero Sievert because that thing got an update and I want to try it. Oh. Including making the character 25% less resilient, which is fun. So, curious to try that out again. But yeah, Diamond, I would never complain about getting paid. Never. Meal. Lavish meals. But right now, Dwarf Fortress just seems to be winding up for a, air quotes, big announcement next week. So I don't know. Keep an eye out on the, I guess the 31st would be next week? Because it turns out that there was actually a, like, news update today, just in the form of screenshots. But Tarn's been talking about how something big's gonna happen next week. Although he said next week last week, but then corrected next week as this week, this coming next week, not this week, because when he initially said next week, he then clarified and said, I didn't realize people would be out of town next week, so next week, the week after next week. Which is, I guess, that means Tarn's ready to announce something, but his publisher isn't, and it really kind of seems like there was classic Tarn miscommunication there. Which actually is kind of hilarious to me. So, I'm really curious to see what that turns into, what that ends up meaning for the long term. I'm not quite ready to jump to conclusions and say, oh my god, it's got to be a release date. But who knows?
Vote Gremlin just purchased Career Break bundle for 15 €.
Thank you, Vote Gremlin, for buying something on Humble. I don't know what that is, but I hope it's good value. Chat, can I get a round of beers for Diamond throwing money into the Gremlin campaign once again? Glorious, truly. One all the way over there. Let's go up to here. Let's go up to about there. Then we'll start digging slowly. How did I know? Jeez. Gosh, I wonder how I knew that that was you, Diamond. Gosh, I don't know. Fun fact, so Humble Bundle pays me every time they hit it's $150 in money raised. They haven't paid me in a year and a half because it's been so long since I've raised $150 in revenues through Humble, just because I don't stream very many new games, right? And the way that you make money through Humble is by playing games that are recent that are on Humble on day one. I just don't play very many games. So that are out, that are new. Which I think is kind of amusing. At least it amuses me. For those dwarves to get down here! That 10 money is stuck in there? Probably. I mean, like, once, the words... My brain's having a hard time thunking right now, at this exact moment. It'll be stuck in there until they decide to pay me. But it's fine. There's other money that's been in there longer. But regardless, thanks for the 10 money. I don't even know what that bundle is. What was that bundle? I didn't have the chance to read it. So I had OBS minimized. Although I do also need to go in there and update the, I need to, go into it and update the amount of money it's raised for charity. Because the number has gone up. Not considerably, but, you know, enough that to raise the number. So I made a mistake. I, turned off my fan while I was eating food because it was loud. I'm gonna go turn it back on. I will be right back. Need the fresh air. Ah. Hello, Zergaholic. It's going all right. I figured out why I was suddenly having trouble thinking. So the thermometer on my fan. So I have an air conditioning unit, right, which has a fan setting. It's just set to fan, which just takes air from outside and blows it inside. That's all it does. Now I normally have it set to about 22, 23 degrees Celsius when it is set to air conditioner. But currently, according to the thermometer on the thing, it was 33 degrees in my apartment. So that's why my brain wasn't working properly. Give it a minute for that to roll back into system functions. As the foremost EF YouTuber and streamer, I don't know if I call me that, but what do you think the #1 person to get access to Steam version to promote the game from KitFox? But do you think I'd be the first person to get access to the Steam version? You know, someone asked me this exact question like 30 minutes ago. I have zero fucking clue. And I can tell you this, and this is like me just being somebody who doesn't value his own work enough, so maybe take what I say with a grain of salt. But you gotta remember, KitFox knows me, right? I'm going to be covering Dwarf Fortress. They know that I'm going to be covering Dwarf Fortress. They know that I'm going to be making videos about Dwarf Fortress. They know that I'm going to be advertising Dwarf Fortress. Will I be the first person to get it? Well, I'm a YouTube channel with 11,000 subscribers. There are plenty of close to 1 million subscriber channels out there that cover a wide variety of games, complex and not complex, that if I was running KitFox's PR, I'd give it to them first. Because those channels are more likely to get way more views than me. I don't know. It is impossible for me to actually give you an answer to that question, because I don't know. But I am by and large, you know, there's 65 people watching my stream right now, and I have 11,379 subscribers on YouTube. There are YouTube channels that get more views in a day than I do in 2 months. I am the guy who is smart enough to send Zach and Tarn an email and ask nicely. I don't expect any preferential treatment. I mean, I've already asked them for it multiple times, but you know, do I expect? I don't know. I have no way to answer that question for you. You're asking, how is KitFox going to run their business? You know, like, I have no idea. Hey, Fight Attack, thanks for continuing that sub. Cheers. But no, I'm a nobody in the grand scheme of things. Am I important to the community? Sure. That's definitely an argument that could be made. But as far as somebody who makes entertainment on the internet, I am very small fish. Extremely small fish. I mean, just to give you an idea, Splattercat gets more views in a day and a half than I do in a month. And he'll be playing it, I guarantee you. So, I don't know. Will I be the first? I don't even know if I'll get it early. So, you know, it's hard to say. You have no idea who that is? Well, that's fine. I would say most of the people who watch my YouTube stuff probably do. And the reason I can tell you that is because if I go to channel analytics, other channels your audience watches, he's literally #1. Same with Ambiguous Amphibian and Nucrium. All people that will also probably want the game. So, I don't know. We'll see. Also, he's got the lucky number 777. Hey, Splat's good. Splat's good people, but he does in fact get more views in like a day than I do in a month. Every video he uploads gets like 80 to 100,000 views, and I do 80 to 100,000 views in a month. So, you know. I'm very much small fish. I know that, as far as the Dwarf Fortress community is concerned, I'm an important figure, but, you know, it took years for people to refer to me as somebody who even streams Dwarf Fortress and not just default to Joel as being the biggest Dwarf Fortress streamer, and that guy hasn't streamed it since 2017. What's up, Nerds Half-Life? Speaking of people who stream Dwarf Fortress. Not small fish. I'm small fish. I'm not big enough to get media badges for PAX anymore. I'm small fish. As far as gaming media is concerned, I'm small. Like, I'm not talking about whether or not niche, but, you know, someone like Quill18 matters significantly more than me. Like, to give you an idea, like, Jupiter Hell developer sent me a screenshot of his game selling 500 copies in a day. It was because Splattercat made one video about his game. I'm small fish when it comes to the grand scheme of things. You used a ramp today? Oh, hey, congrats. Like, as in you learned how to use ramps today? The first time I built a door in Dwarf Fortress was one of the most, oh my god, I did it, moments I've had in a video game ever. It's a very satisfying feeling to successfully do that. Successfully figure out a very simple thing in a complicated video game. It worked after you worked on it for an hour. What were you trying to do with ramps? You know, honestly, for me, figuring out stairs in Dwarf Fortress was literally just, I stared at them for a minute and then went, oh, these work exactly the same way as The Sims. And then they just got infinitely easier. Because they do. They literally operate exactly the same way as stairs do in The Sims. Oh, you put the trade you put the trade post inside. Yeah, I mean, having to use this screen is a little tricky. Never played The Sims? I unfortunately did. Although that DOS tactic video on stairs is still hilariously accurate. Now you're full and tired. Well, that's good. It's better than being hungry and tired. We're mining some more, Okay, what? The hell are you doing, cutest? Saw a goblin recite the noble vines and mystery at the Berry of Rooms, and I feel some delight. Okay, how about instead of watching them do that, you go do your... Oh, you're construct... Hold on. All Dwarfs Harvest. Only Farmers Harvest. There we go. I'll save that problem. Dig. Perfect. Ramps are a little weird to wrap your head around. Like, the difference between a ramp and but again, like, once you figure them out, they make a lot of sense. But they're just, again, one of those weird, quirky mechanics in Dwarf Fortress that just kind of makes no sense if you don't realize what you're actually doing. But Dwarf Fortress kind of has a few of those. What gives it its charm, you know? Yeah, I don't know. Stairs weren't that complicated for me. It's like, the complicated part was accidentally fucking upstairs and then figuring out where I fucked up. That was the complicated part. Was just the, Oh, I screwed this up, didn't I? And then it taking way longer than it should have to, like, figure out how to fix it. Oh, yeah, sometimes looking at the generated ramps can be a pain. I mean, the premium version's gonna, like, double and triple that. You're really enjoying adventure mode, too? Oh, cool. What do you mean by multiple levels? Adventure mode is neat. I mean, everybody compares Dwarf Fortress to RimWorld and just be like, oh, Dwarf Fortress is like RimWorld, but more. It's like, sure, but they forget about the fact that there's also Kenshi in the game. You forget about the fact that, yeah, you can also just, like, play it as a solo RPG. We found the edge of this adamantine. By the way, massive spoilers for, or mechanical spoilers, I guess, for what I'm doing right now. People don't recognize what I'm doing right now. I don't know. View at your own peril, I suppose. Do this because it's way faster. Shit. Ugly as hell, but we'll make it work. Z levels, the ramps down just so that you can make something interesting. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, up here on the surface, I have this. This is a thing I'm working on slowly. Kind of neat. Kind of goes up and all the way down to here. I also have this. Just the main fortress. Which, you know, it's nice and small, compact, nothing too gaudy. Just got walls full of lava. Pressurized lava at that. The long bridge out to here. Yeah. Oh, also, looks like a vile force of darkness has arrived. Chat, you're here. Did you know that? Oh, where else? All right, well, lock everyone indoors. So once again, these are goblin elves, which is why all of their names are in goblin. It's once again a rendition of the Branded Witch, a masterfully designed image of a goblet. The image of the symbol is from the Dread of Scrapes, so a different goblin civ. But they've sent an elven army, and it is made from sandstone. Also, can I just say, the Branded Witch is my new punk band. Such a fucking good name for anything. All right, well, they're gonna start locking that down. We're gonna seal this off. We're gonna seal this off. Jump up here. Shut all the training off. Turn off all the military squads. And we wait. Here come more. Okay, so. They've slammed the one door shut, so the dwarves can turn around. Now we just need to get this one shut. Oh, no. So that dwarf making an artifact went berserk. Makes sense, but I feel kind of bad. Which means everybody's just going to beat the crap out of him. It's a damn shame, that. It depends on whether or not it's a natural river or creek or not. If it's not a natural river or creek, it will never swell. Or it will, sorry, it will swell. If it's not a, if it's a natural occurrence, it won't swell. This dwarf is crying. Drop your boulders. Okay. Now get inside. All right, so we're up against not too big of an army. He was trying to make an artifact, and me locking them into the fortress kind of canceled that, so. The other dwarves had to pummel him to death, which kind of sucks. I'm not a big fan of that, but unfortunately, it is what we gotta do sometimes. Hoping they can remove that corpse now, which I'm assuming they can. Yep. Got cut into 5 pieces. Much more concerned about this army here. Man, it sucks that they're not sending them mounts. I'd really love to see elves riding on beak dogs. I feel like that would be fun. Bust nuts? Oh, that's funny. I once had a helix called Bulbasaur spawn next to me, and I laughed pretty hard. I wasn't even running the Pokemon mod at that time. It literally was just called Bulbasaur, because Soar is a word and Bulbous is a word, so it was the Bulbasaur. Which, you know, Dwarf Fortress, it's a video game, allegedly. I mean, we already lost a lot of dwarves today. We got attacked by a siege of like 600 goblins. And during that siege, my military left and then came back, and we lost like 20 dwarves to that fight. I mean, we killed way more of them than they killed of us, but our dwarves are more valuable than the 600 goblins and trolls and beak dogs. Asob cooked a masterpiece, damn right. Rock Gen for the win. Yeah, it's fantastic. Also, I've shown this on stream many times because it happened on stream, but I got a thing I'd like to show you guys. I'm just going to link it. You guys can watch it if you want, or don't if you don't. The YouTube short. Take a look at this. It's related to this fort. And sieges in this fort. Can sled. Okay, I can sled, don't worry. You know, it's real cute. They haven't realized what they're walking into just yet. No, that's not what I want. I want to cancel that and pull that. Reminder, ads incentive program now pays 55% ad split. Yeah, fuck off. Which, I'm not going to show ads on my stream if I don't want to. People pay me to stream ads. People don't pay me to show you. People don't pay me to stream ads. People pay me to stream video games. People didn't pay me to stream video games, and I would show them ads. That's not how this market works. First squad's coming down. We need more than half of them to be in there. These guys are lingering. Flying goblin all the way across the sky. Nobody expects it, just like the Spanish Inquisition. How badly gutted did this thing get? His left lower leg is fractured. Oh no. Tripped on a weapon trap on the way in, and he's just got a broken leg now. getting there. These guys are booking it, though. I don't know what short that is. Oh, that's my other short. Are you just, like, personally attached to the Ka short or something? Also, another one hit my spike trap. Or not spike trap, but weapon trap. Alright, I'm gonna shut my camera off because we're about to get to the good bits. Human Void Hunter, eh? This isn't mine. You gonna... Ah, you must be friends with the wrong side. That makes sense. Well, I'm gonna queue up my squads over there. Because we're gonna have to kill a couple of these elves that are getting through. Seems to be only 2, maybe 3 are gonna get through. They also might get to my horses. Where are you going? Anyway, there goes one elf. We'll go for the second one in a second. There he goes. And they'll turn around and get the third one. I'm gonna pull this lever. Do it now. And I'm gonna pull this lever. Do it now. Well, maybe not as enthusiastically, because I need all those elves to be in there. Alright, dwarves are running out front. Taking out these okay, sweet. That's all of the elves that made it through first. Here comes our good friend, Razlime. Chat, can I get a round of beers for all of these, well, elves that are about to die? I was going to say goblins, but, you know, that wouldn't be proper. And to anybody who hasn't seen this trap yet, obviously look up. Now's a good time to witness the glory that is the half moon of fire. Although these days it's more of a full moon of fire. Now we just wait. Actually, I can let that squad go back to doing whatever they were doing before. And there it goes. There she blows. Curious about how much longer this siege lasts. Frankly. I mean, at this point, more than half of them are dead. Or at least half of them are dead. The rest of them are going to be dead soon. And there goes the last few. Torching them. They walked straight into my trap, and Raz, you pulled the lever. They'll never learn, will they? Truly. They'll never learn. All these elves outside are going, yo, what? What the hell? Now just let the dwarves go back to doing whatever they were doing. Although, what's life without a little extra violence? Alright, we're sending out the full squid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this side door. I'm going to open this side door right here. And we're going to surprise these elves. I think that it's time to test out my new military and see how good they actually are. What do you think, chat? Because, you know, most of them are currently stuck in the lava. But there's still a bunch out here. I mean, come on. What's the fun of this if we don't, you know, show him who's boss occasionally? Here comes Zan Zanolzulul, the wood burner. He's coming to go pull a lever. Oh, now they're splitting, which means we don't have much time. Let the door open. We're gonna set them out here. And you guys up there. Get out there, dwarves. Oh, they're all fighting right next to lava. That's scary. All right, there goes 2 more. Heath flying. They're charging down along the bridges, smashing through the rest of them. A little bit of practice, I say. Glorious. Absolutely glorious. How many are left? There's still some. Most of them are splitting. They're quite far away, too. All right, we will permit the rest of them to just simply leave. So all of these bodies, I'm gonna say should automatically be dumped, but it doesn't look like it.
Whoa, dude,
yeah,
fuck you, dude. That's fucking sick. Hell yeah. Woo!
Death and murder. Woo, says Twitch chat. Yeah, pretty much. It's also halfway responding to a DM I just got. All right, around the edges, put all those bits and pieces away. Yep, and there's no baddies left. And now we can dump the stuff out the back. Or out here anyway, once it gets pulled. And this is the current drainage system, although I'm going to be extending it a tad shortly. But currently that is my drainage. And there it all goes. Look at all that. It's beautiful. Truly something beautiful. So now we take all this stuff out here and dump it, and then everything that can melt down, we're gonna melt down. There's gonna be a good amount of stuff. Flows off into the ocean? Not into the ocean, just off the edge of the map. It kind of flows down. This isn't water or anything. That's just open space. So it just goes down and off the edge of the map. Torches some of the grasses, but it's fine. Doesn't really matter. Is that wood that's damaged? How the hell do you get damaged logs? I wonder if they caught on fire. Weird. But yeah, all the bits and pieces are going to be carried out of those elves over here on the side and tossed down into the trash. And then we can go back to whatever the else hell we were doing. Queen has demanded I make 2 more maces. Silver mace. We're going to carve fortifications on this, and we're going to go back to getting some more metal strands, shall we say. Although I should run these on a higher priority. And also dig through the edges there. And there. And we're also making copper goblets, which is good. Putting a bunch of stuff away, digging a bunch of stuff, doing a bunch of other useful things. I'm assuming these dwarves here will mine through all this and then just go back to that lower middle chunk. Keep cutting, keep cutting, keep cutting, keep cutting. Always keep cutting. So I'm digging through these and then fortifying them, and the reason I'm doing them in that order, like that, is so that we can peek at what's behind them. Because if there's something scary that we don't want behind them, we want that to make itself known so that we don't go after it. Because the hidden fun stuff likes to hide underneath adamantine. And I'm currently digging this as a shortcut because this is a hell of a lot quicker to get through along this way than it is the current very long roundabouty way that they're taking right now. There's also more over there. I mean, this stuff is considered to be pretty spoilerific by most people, so good to know, but just keep in mind that a large portion of the dwarfy community is very careful about spoilers. The enemy of progress is hubris. What's up, Force? When was the last time you showed up here? It's been a long time. Long goddamn time. What's up? Literally mid-2020. Wow, has it been that long? Good lord, man. What you been up to? How's 2021 and 2022 been for you? Been like 2 years after all. New home, new job? Damn. Not much has changed here. I'm still in the same apartment. Different background, but still in the same apartment. Oh, actually, you might have seen the background upgrade. I'm not sure. But probably in a different room from the last time you tuned in. I moved from the living room of this apartment to the bedroom of this apartment and turned the bedroom into... Or the living room is now my bedroom and vice versa. So I actually have kind of like an office setup now. It's nice. Same fun game. Yep. Same fun game, same fun channel. Except it's a fun game that other people are starting to care about now, which is nice, frankly. I mean, it's kind of chill. Speaking of fun, we are, like, playing with potential fun right now. I mean, that's definitely a portal to hell, that. But yeah, for those of you who've never encountered this person before, O-Force is been following this channel since 2017. A long time. Very, very, very long time. I mean, that's just lava. I've been pouring that on elves all day. It's okay, they don't mind. Although now that I mention it, I've never actually asked them if they mind. I'm sure they mind, but they'll get over it. So now that we've got that all sorted, it's much quicker to just walk up here. But yeah, no, things have been largely the same over in this area of the world. I mean, I'm still playing Long Death. The main thing that's changed over here in the channel over the past 2 years is I stream 3 days a week now. What was the lost notification? Oh, probably just me dumping clothing, old clothing bits in the lava. Because my petty is one of my clothers, or made a bunch of clothing. And clothing gets ragged. When it gets ragged, it gets thrown in the garbage. And when it gets thrown in the garbage, they go, "Oh no, I lost my famous artifact!" And you're like, dude, it's a sock. Calm down. You made a nice pair of socks, but like, calm down. And that's basically it. But yeah, the main thing that's really changed is I stream 3 days a week now instead of 7 or whatever I did back in the beginning of 2020. Stream 3 days a week now. I actually get weekends. It's kind of nice. And host a podcast now, which is, I guess, pretty much still the same sort of shit. YouTube channel's been doing pretty well, which is nice to see. According to my audience on Twitch, I'm way too humble. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm less spazzy than I used to be. Grown up a bit. Apparently I'm bipolar. Fun stuff. That's been the last 2 years for me, in short. Also, I've been camping a lot recently, which has been nice. You've been putting them in cabinets. I guess it's more fun to throw them in lava. I mean, you can put them in cabinets, but like, you gotta get rid of them eventually. When the owner of them dies, and if they're raggedy, they just throw them all into the trading pile. Or into the garbage pile. Like, they literally will throw clothing into refuse piles if they get crappy enough. Because people who focus on material gain are sad when old items are thrown away. Yeah. I mean, I would be sad if I threw away my records, but I could get all my records again, most likely, if I needed to. Although, transporting like 200 records isn't that difficult. I have so many stoneworkers. Oh, I see. They all just have the dump item jobs on them right now. We're still throwing away elven corpses. So look at this. Actually, I don't need to throw any of this stuff out. That's fine. Keep that. But I'm still tossing elf corpses. Broken records? No. I mean, I'd be sad that I broke it, but the act of throwing it away doesn't make me sad. I actually had a record melt, but it wasn't a very valuable record. It was like a $5 record, so I wasn't super upset about it. It was last summer when it got ridiculously hot, one of my records melted. That made me kind of sad, but... Would I be sad throwing away a broken one? No. Not at all. What are you dumping? Oh, I see. They're all running down here to dump this. Okay. Once all this crap's gone, it should be quicker for us to do things going forward because we just need to get the rest of these bodies removed. Now, hopefully someone's going to go detail wall. right, all the way down to there. Set this to lowish priority. That's the wrong button. I wanted detail. I forgot to hit S. There we go. Smooth stone. So I'll just have stone detailers in the area the whole time. For similarities in a dwarf throwing away a shoddy shirt. Well, it's not that dwarf that gets sad. It's the dwarf that made it who got sad. Right? So it's not the actual dwarf itself that's upset. Usually if I'm throwing out clothing, the dwarf that owned it is dead. But it's the dwarf that made it. It's like my masterwork kind of thing, you know? It's just like if you make a piece of art in Dwarf Fortress, like an engraving on a wall, and then you tell another dwarf to go mine through it and turn it into a big hole in the wall, the dwarf that made the engraving will be mad. The dwarf that mined through it won't give a shit. Right? It's sort of like if you build a house and then pay somebody else to go knock it over, the person who built it might be like, "Oh, what the fuck? That was a good house." You know? It's that kind of thing. No, it's not how dare you throw away item I made. How dare you throw the item I made into a volcano? Which is what we're doing, by the way. A semi-formed volcano, but still a volcano. It's actually just like the plot of Tekken. Also, the plot of Tekken? No, Tekken and Tekkid. One is an arcade game, the other is Dwarf in my fort. Circa 15. Also, hello, Kleno. We've been annihilating elves that are completely assimilated by goblins, so they have iron weapons. Terrifying, truly. Also, I've been thinking about something Tarn said in one of the interviews. Kleno? Specifically about elves being more interesting, because in the last interview that I had with him, he stated that, or him and Zach stated that the godly metals are gonna have a bigger effect and a bigger impact on the game in the next version. Bet elves are gonna use godly metals. Like, you're gonna have elves showing up wielding, I don't know, whips made of screaming metal. Frame rate? Where'd you go? I hardly knew ye. Oh, you back. Okay, that's good. The queen has banned maces. Export. That's fine. That's my theory. By the way, you just missed investing, Diamond. Sounds like we're gonna have elves getting dropped into meat grinders. I mean, I'm excited. I really hope that that's the case. Because Elvenite's gonna be better than Goblinite at that point. You have a good night, Onyx. Shitting you? No. Do you want me to restart the bot to fuel your gambling addiction, Diamond? The Goblin Sacred Basin Kutzmob Zolnata has shared many tales from beyond Threatdweller. Anything interesting? Nope, just the sieges up there. Well, I mean, technically, currently we're in a goblin dwarven war. Because the elves that are invading me currently are, you know, actually just goblins. Enslaved elves. So technically we're fighting with goblins, not elves. You remember being excited for goblins invading with scourges? I mean, to be fair, scourges are pretty cool. What about elves invading with scourges? Because that's what I just had on my last siege. Which is pretty awesome. Although I will always maintain that the coolest thing that I ever had was elves that were part of a necromancer civ invading me, and they were riding undead giant ravens. We all fucking died. That was the most viable adversary I've ever had in Dwarf Fortress. They just showed up and we all fucking died. That was it. Oh, the elves coming around with metal. Ah, I gotcha. I still just, I was talking about this yesterday, but I really just want elves to send the trees after me. Like, I just want the trees to start having Forgotten Beast powers. Like, imagine they just curse your trees, and then suddenly it's just like, oh, like an elven druid shows up, and then they just wander around for a bit, and then suddenly the trees just start spitting acid at you. That I'd be down for that. So badass. Yeah, it's like a fucking Glory Hammer album cover. It's just like, you're fending off these elves, and they're just like, Glory Hammer! That's great. Yeah, whips and scourges are redonkulously broken. They're like maybe the most busted weapons in the game. I really should just build a lever up here. Just defend this better. There we go. We are now extracting metal strands. Would you look at that? But anyway, Clino, aside from that sounding horrible, what you been up to, man? You excited for all the teasing that Bay 12 has been doing, or are you just sweating going, oh god, this subreddit's gonna be a nightmare? Usually I feel like volunteer moderation teams just get scared whenever there's big things coming. For those of you who don't know, Clino's a friendly local Reddit mod for Dwarf Fort. So if you ever get banned from Reddit, it's probably his fault. And one of my goals about going to PAX is recording Zach and Tarn saying happy birthday, Clino. A la cameo type deal. Alright, let's hack through all that. But yeah, this is kind of like a, not cheaty way of doing this, but if I know what's behind the layer that I'm currently looking at, it's literally impossible for the hidden fun stuff to attack me, so this is a very easy way of very safely doing this. Playing airport CEO and there is a freaking cow just walking? I'd be more concerned if the cow wasn't walking. Like, into the airport? You need to up your security, sir. You happen to know what the surprise is this once? I like how you're communicating to me with DMs, and you're just like, I'm free to speculate. And I'm just like, uh-huh. And then you're like, also, I know what it is. I'm pretty sure my guess is right, though. I'm not going to say what it is, but I'm pretty sure my guess is right. I'm very consistently one of those people who just happens to have enough knowledge that I can make an educated guess. Now it's walking on the taxiway, blocking the paint. That's like the one time a deer ran onto an F1 track. Now you're just confirming my suspicions, though. Can't say? Of course you can. But you did say you're free to speculate. But if you're not sweating, then I'm assuming my guess is correct. Thinkity thunkity. But yeah, I have a pretty... Also, it, like, fits perfectly. My theory as to what they're... what Tarn's been teasing on Bay 12 that he wants to announce is something that would make a lot of sense that he could be working on it for the past few weeks that wouldn't cause visual changes. So, I have a very likely theory, is the way I would put it. Do I know for a fact what it is? No. Do I have a very likely theory? Yeah. Oh, yeah. And if I'm wrong, I won't actually be that much surprised Pikachu. Just slightly surprised Pikachu. I do wonder how Gamescom's going so far. I do wonder. I'm also... Actually, Clino, do you know if KitFox has a booth at Gamescom, or did they just send Alexandra? Because it's kind of hard to, like, piece that together for through Twitter, and to be honest, I'm too lazy to actually go look. Because I know that they sent Alexandra to Gamescom, but that's my entire knowledge of what they're doing at Gamescom. All right, well, they're all working on Metal Strand, so let's make wafer 0 until we have a bunch of wafers. Shouldn't need to make any more swords, but a magma crab is fighting? Well, I mean, the magma crab is dead, actually. So we won. That's good news. What a weird place to be walking from to go dig. Well, I mean, this will be a nice full tour of the fortress. You know the best Reddit mod theory when they were out of nowhere? When they, out of nowhere, wanted to do a Bay 12 KitFox AMA in 2019 was that Tarn and Tanya were getting married and leading to a de facto merger. Wow, that would be out of left field. Like, that would be wildly out of left field. And that was when they announced that they were gonna be, like, publishing the Dwarf Fortress, right? That is the most, like, Redditor theory, though, that I've ever seen. That's funny. That is very, very funny. But seriously, though, that is, like, the most Redditor theory that you could possibly have. Oh, they're getting married. I mean... Like, if you believed random people on the internet, I've married, like, 5 people on Twitch over the past couple of years. People on the internet like shipping people. That's very funny. You don't know about Gamescom? I assume they're just doing boyfriend dungeon stuff at Gamescom because I haven't tweeted anything about anything else. So I just assume that they're doing boyfriend dungeon stuff at Gamescom. Alright, well, we can mine through those last few. But then, after that, we gotta go down. Thinking... I'm thinking we cut down right about there. But let's do downstairs. I just think it's really cute every single time somebody posts that Dwarf Fortress is not going to be released. Like, KitFox tweeted like a couple of days ago saying, if you think the game you're playing is hard or something, you should try Dwarf Fortress. And then someone was like, why are you tweeting about a game that's never going to come out? And it's really funny that people who play games immediately default to, oh, that's never coming out. After like a year and 6 months. It's like, if it's been more than a year, game's dead, never coming out. And that's never gonna stop amusing me. Like, I will be able to read weird Redditor takes forever and just laugh at how... And weird, like, comment takes forever about how inaccurate they are, because that is just so amusing to me. It's just so amusing. Like, I know it's maybe not the best comparison, but, like, Bannerlord is just the closest thing I got, because, like, that was largely made by, like, a 4-person team or something. Like, very small team made that game. Accusations of scope creep? I mean, that's normal for a normal Dwarf Fortress update, but, I mean, every screen needs a UI element, so I'm not sure how that's scope creep. Or feature creep, I guess. Doesn't make that much sense to call it that, because, like, every screen that's in the game, and there's, like, 70 of them. It's probably more, I'm just guessing. There's a lot of screens in the game. They all need a piece of UI made for them. Yeah, it's like all that stuff is already in the game. Yeah, no, absolutely. Oh man, more emeralds. That's cool. Yeah, that's funny. Like, if people are... Well, I mean, I guess Tarn did take a brief break in 2021 to, like, patch a few things, but... It's better that way, usually. Oh, yeah, I mean, for indie games, it makes a lot of sense, yeah. For small games, it makes a lot of sense. Unless you have, like, a $300 million marketing budget, it makes a whole whack ton of sense to just take all of the time you need and then, you know, after all that is done, announce something. And don't do that until you've taken all the time that you need. Which is the right thing to do. We're gonna set all this stuff to be melted down, because I haven't done any of that yet. Set all you to be melted down. Set all you to be melted down. Set all you to be melted down. And you know what? We're gonna open this. And we're gonna open this, because this stuff's very shallow. It's like stuff starting to disappear. Yeah, it's like almost done. And then this, Dwarf runs over here to this. Name's a craft store shop. You have really crappy trousers. Let's make 150 new pairs of trousers. That was a fun thread. I think I missed that one. Complaining of scope creep. Although I'm not on the subreddit as much as a lot of people. I check it maybe every other day, actively. It's like I mostly just do, like, what's the word? I mostly just check subreddit when I'm posting shit. Because, you know, I'm just there for personal gain, and I don't actually care about contributing to the subreddit in any way. Like somebody accused me of once. Oh, that was on Steam? Oh, yeah, I never look at that cesspool. I value my sanity, thanks. My favorite Steam thread was way long ago, which is, how can they be releasing a game that had how could they posted a link to a Wall Street Journal review of Dwarf Fortress, and the thread title was, how in the world did they review this game it was like 11 years ago or whatever, or no, I guess at that point it would have been like 9 years ago, because this would have been in 2019. How the hell did they review this game 9 years ago when it's not out yet? That was maybe my favorite. Because it's just like, there's some people who just believe that like Dwarf Fortress has just been in development that long and is not available anywhere and you can't actually play it. There are some people who think that. That was probably my favorite one. That, or just the, how dare you sell this game? It's supposed to be free forever. I'm going to pirate it as soon as it's released. That one was also pretty good. That's a lot of rough gems you want. Logs, okay, got those. Bones, ooh. Man, really wish that... Let's make 10 quivers. Maybe I just don't have quivers. How much ammunition do I have? Plenty, apparently. Really hope that dwarf is able to get what they need. Because I don't know why, but the concept of pirating Dwarf Fortress is just hilarious to me. It's almost as silly as buying a used copy on disc, which I know somebody who did that. Went to a used stuff store and bought a copy of Dwarf Fortress on disc. Alright, time to mine out more adamantine. More candy, as the kids like to call it. This might be a scary one, though. God, they're so far away, usually. There we go. We'll follow you. God, your name's so amusing to me. You're excited by the game. You've got at least 500 hours into it. Yeah. No, me too. I mean, I'm excited to own Dwarf Fortress on Steam just so I can let it run for like 5 days. Like, that's one of the things I want to do is, like, if for some reason they give me a key early, I'm just not going to turn it off until, like, until I can leave a review of it. Because I want to be one of those people with like 10,000 hours going, hey, it's fine. All right, well, seeing more ADA behind it. Find all that out. Find that out. But yeah, no, I'm excited to pick up Dwarf Fortress on Steam. But I'm also just excited to see other people play it, because I do actually just like watching people play this game. Usually, if I end up really enjoying a game, and I have the same issue with like Caves of Cut and Dwarf Fortress, I go out of my way to find streams of it, but there just is very few people who stream Dwarf Fortress, right? It's like me, Tekid, Cupo, and like a handful of other people that stream occasionally, right? Sometimes Sal on occasion, sometimes Quill on occasion, but there's very few people that just stream the game consistently and frequently, and that's what I look for. And because I happen to be in this, like, you know, crowd of people whose who wants to watch Dwarf Fortress. I'm just excited to have other people to watch. That's something that I'm looking forward to. It's going to be nice to see other people play the game and hopefully see the meta shift and see new players get their hands on it for the first time and finally see all these people who've been claiming to love games like this actually try it. Because let's be honest, a lot of them haven't. And we're waiting for the game because it's summer. Oop-a-doop. So yeah, 3 sieges today. Well, technically 4, I guess, but one of them just walked away. 2 of them were entirely elves. One of them was like 600 fucking goblins. A hell of a thing, Matt. Oh, there we go. It's done. I'm also just excited to see people, you know, play the game. But I don't know. I think the majority of my excitement is actually just like fear and stress. Because I am well aware of how much work I'm going to have to do. I was talking about this earlier, but it's like when premium launches, I'm going to have multiple months worth of very, very excessive streaming that I'm going to have to do. As well as making and editing videos. So, it's going to mean a lot of hours and not a lot of camping. But it'll be worth it. Because, you know, currently I'm doing this 3 days a week schedule. I will get back to this schedule, but for at the very least a couple of weeks, maybe even a month, I'll jump up to 6, maybe even 7 days. I haven't decided yet. It really depends on how I'm feeling and whether or not I'm physically capable of doing it again. Because I used to do that schedule before I was chronically disabled, and now it's like, I don't think I can anymore. But for short bursts, I certainly can. I mean, I did that over Christmas. I streamed, it was like, what, 31 days in a row? That was a bit of fun. Or I think it was 24 days in a row, actually. I streamed over the holiday itself. But, you know, we're a little lurky, so I think we'll do a little bit more dwarfs. And I probably finish mining out this adamantine. And then after that, we're going to... let's be scared. Let's be careful. Then after that, we're going to play some Zero Sivert, which got an update to the version that I have, so I want to play a little bit more of that. Just kind of like pixel art Tarkov. It's a weird thing, but it's neat. I really wish that the extracting of metal strands didn't take so long as a job. It's such a time-intensive job for the dwarves. Like, it actually takes a ridiculously long amount of time. Playing on water is cool. Dude, there is so much smoke over here. I woke up this morning with like half a sore throat and I went, oh no, I have COVID! And then I looked outside and I was like, oh. Oh, that makes sense. Like the sky is brown. Ah. And then I turned off my air conditioning. I was like, right, that's the problem. And then I rolled over and I felt fine when I woke up. It's like, this is what it feels like to be a chain smoker. Let's just live in BC during forest fire season. How's work, pilot? Yeah, it's not as bad as last year was, at least not yet. The fire is up past Penticton, which is along the further up the coast, so it's closer to me than Tarn. Your last brain cell fried itself 4 hours ago? So that bad, eh? But yeah, hopefully it kind of skips Seattle this year. It's a bit later than last year, though. Last year was way hotter. This seems to be more just like the normal fire season. That seems to be quite a bit more normal, because the temperatures, at least thus far this year, have been less redonkulous. I mean, it hasn't been feeling like I'm gonna fucking die all the time anymore. Well, that's interesting. I think I can show this screen. So Twitch now has built-in charity stuff? That's kind of interesting. I'm curious to see if people adopt this stuff. Or if they stick with, things like Tiltify. That's curious. Yeah, I mean, up until now, it's all been through external services. Humans have arrived to trade. Up until now, it's been primarily through Tiltify. Like, I have this fundraiser going on right now. Which I probably should promote a little bit more, but that's going through an external fundraising platform. So I do kind of wonder if this is the beginning of the end for those external fundraising platforms, or what? Well, I mean, me and my team, we run a very, 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 very big charity marathon every year. Our charity marathon is called the Hot Potato. It's mostly organized by my teammate Sui, but we kind of do it as a group. And that thing, yeah, that thing's a shit ton of work. But, you know, they've raised, it was like over 180,000 US dollars over several years for Doctors Without Borders. It's kind of, no small amount. It's kind of impressive. But that's a curious thing that Twitch has it built in now. But I think, chat, I think we've done some pretty good progress today on this fort. We've built up this, where is it? There it is. We've built up this faraway tower thingy quite a bit. It's gone up a couple layers, all the way up to here. Slowly growing. We built a second tavern down here, so we now have 2 taverns in the fort, and a second food storage, which goes down to there. The king died, so now we just have the queen. It's fine, she's in charge anyway. It was a king consort. And we burninated a lot of baddies. Stream's not done yet, obviously, but I am going to be changing games. So, I think now is the time to say goodbye to Threatdweller for the day. With my experience with those services is the charity pays the platform a fee to have their charity featured. But I don't know how this one works. Although I could just DM Steven and ask him about Able Gamers because his charity is right there. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how any of that stuff works. I would assume Twitch isn't taking any cut. I haven't looked at it at all. I mean, the stuff only just popped up on my homepage. So.